The galactic stage. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, countless civilizations rose and fell, their existence barely a flicker in the cosmic tapestry. For millennia, Earth remained hidden from the galactic community, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of the complex political landscape beyond their atmosphere. That is, until the day the Zarkonian survey ship Astral Seeker dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. Captain Selena stood on the bridge, her iridescent scales shimmering under the soft blue light of the ship's holographic displays. Her large, multifaceted eyes scanned the readouts, focusing on the third planet from the system's unremarkable yellow star. "Another dead world," muttered First Officer Vex, his tentacles writhing with boredom. "Hardly worth the fuel we've spent getting here." Zelna's mandibles clicked in mild irritation. "Protocol dictates we conduct a thorough survey. Vex, you know this." As the Astral Seeker approached Earth, its sensors began picking up anomalies. Radio waves, satellite signals, and the unmistakable signs of a nascent technological civilization peppered the readings. Selna's antenna twitched with excitement. "Life signs," exclaimed the sensor operator. "Billions of them." The bridge erupted into a flurry of activity as the crew scrambled to process this unexpected development. Selna felt a mixture of elation and trepidation. First contact was a delicate affair, one that could shape the future of both species involved. "Maintain distance," she ordered. "We'll observe and report back to High Command. Let them decide how to proceed." As the Zarkonians watched from orbit, humanity remained oblivious to their presence. But deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a top-secret facility known only to a handful of individuals, something stirred. Dr. Elena Rodriguez wiped the sweat from her brow as she examined the holographic schematics floating before her. The cavernous underground hangar hummed with activity as scientists and engineers worked tirelessly on the massive object dominating the space. "How's it looking, Doc?" asked Colonel James Harper, his weathered face etched with concern. Elena sighed, running a hand through her salt and pepper hair. "We're making progress, but there's still so much we don't understand. This technology, it's light years beyond anything we've ever seen." The object of their attention was a colossal warship, its sleek lines and otherworldly design a stark contrast to the crude human scaffolding surrounding it. Discovered buried deep within the Antarctic ice shelf decades ago, the vessel had been the subject of intense study and reverse engineering efforts ever since. "The brass is getting antsy," Harper said, his voice low. "With all the increased UFO activity lately, they want results. Something we can use to defend ourselves if push comes to shove." Elena nodded, understanding the pressure they were under. "We're close to a breakthrough on the propulsion systems. If we can crack that, we might be able to get this bird in the air. But weapons? That's another story entirely." As they spoke, a young engineer approached, tablet in hand. "Dr. Rodriguez, Colonel Harper, you need to see this." The trio huddled around the tablet, watching grainy satellite footage of an unidentified object in Earth orbit. Elena's breath caught in her throat as she realized the implications. "Is that what I think it is?" Harper asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Elena nodded slowly. "It appears we're not alone anymore." In the following days, governments around the world scrambled to respond to the presence of the alien vessel. The United Nations convened emergency sessions, militaries went on high alert, and the public teetered on the edge of panic. Through it all, the Zarkonians watched, gathering data and forming their initial impressions of humanity. Back on the Astral Seeker, Captain Selena reviewed the reports with growing concern. "They're frightened," she observed, "and a frightened species can be dangerous." "Frightened?" Vex scoffed. "They should be in awe. We could crush their primitive civilization with ease." Selena shot him a reproachful look. "That kind of thinking leads to unnecessary conflict, Vex. We must approach this with caution and respect." As the Zarkonians debated their next move, Earth's leaders grappled with the monumental task of preparing humanity for first contact. In the Oval Office, The President of the United States sat with his closest advisors, including the Secretary of Defense and the Director of NASA. "What are our options?" the President asked, his face haggard from sleepless nights. The Secretary of Defense leaned forward. "We've upgraded our missile defense systems, but against their level of technology, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Our best bet is diplomacy." The NASA director nodded in agreement. "We've prepared a series of mathematical and scientific messages. If we can establish communication, we might be able to avoid misunderstandings that could lead to conflict." The President pinched the bridge of his nose, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. "And what about our special project? The one in Colorado?" A tense silence fell over the room. Finally, the Secretary of Defense spoke. "Project Phoenix is progressing, but it's not ready. We don't even know if we can get it off the ground, let alone use it effectively." Back in the underground facility, Elena and her team worked with renewed urgency. The news of the alien ship had lit a fire under the project, with resources and personnel flooding in from every corner of the globe. As Elena calibrated a particularly stubborn piece of alien technology, she felt a strange resonance. The ship seemed to hum in response to her touch, almost as if it were alive. She paused, placing her palm flat against the cool, metallic surface. "What are you?" she whispered. "And why were you left here?" For a moment, she could have sworn she felt a pulse of energy beneath her hand. But before she could investigate further, alarms blared throughout the facility. Colonel Harper's voice crackled over the intercom. "All personnel to battle stations. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Elena's heart raced as she sprinted to the control room. She arrived to find Harper and other senior staff huddled around a bank of monitors. "What's happening?" she demanded. Harper's face was grim as he pointed to the main screen. "They're making their move." The footage showed the Zarkonian ship descending through Earth's atmosphere, its massive form casting shadows over panicked cities below. Smaller craft deployed from its hull, spreading out across the globe. "Are they attacking?" someone asked, voice trembling. "No weapons fired yet," Harper replied. "But they're positioning themselves over major population centers. It's a show of force." Elena's mind raced. She thought of the ship below, of its untapped potential. "We need more time," she said. "If we can just hold them off a little longer, maybe we can." Her words were cut short as the main screen flickered, replaced by an alien visage. Captain Selma's multifaceted eyes seemed to stare directly at them as she began to speak, her words translated by advanced software. "People of Earth," she said, her voice resonating through speakers worldwide. "We are the Zarkonian Stellar Confederation. We come in peace, seeking diplomatic relations with your world. However, we must insist on your immediate surrender and integration into our galactic community. Resistance would be inadvisable." As the message repeated in various languages, Elena and Harper exchanged looks of determination. They knew that humanity's future hung in the balance, and the key to their survival might just lie dormant in the hangar below. The race against time had begun. Humanity would soon face its greatest challenge, armed with determination, ingenuity, and a mysterious legacy left behind by an ancient alien civilization. The galaxy watched with bated breath, unaware that the dirt planet they had so easily dismissed was about to change the course of galactic history forever. First contact and conflict. The world held its collective breath as governments scrambled to respond to the Zarkonian ultimatum. In capitals across the globe, leaders debated furiously, weighing the risks of defiance against the cost of surrender. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session, but consensus proved elusive. Meanwhile, in the Colorado facility, Elena and her team worked feverishly to unlock the secrets of the ancient warship. The pressure was immense, with the fate of humanity potentially resting on their shoulders. "We're making progress on the propulsion systems," Elena reported to Colonel Harper, her eyes bleary from lack of sleep. "But the weapons are still a mystery. It's like they're locked behind some kind of ethical failsafe. Harper nodded grimly. Keep at it. We need every advantage we can get. Above them, the Zarkonian ships maintained their ominous vigil. Captain Selena, aboard the flagship, grew increasingly frustrated with the humans' lack of response. They're stalling, Vex growled, his tentacles writhing with impatience. We should make an example of one of their cities. Show them the cost of defiance. Zelna's scales rippled with disapproval. No, we must give diplomacy a chance. Prepare a delegation for planetfall. We'll meet with their leaders face to face. As the Zarkonian shuttle descended towards the United Nations headquarters in New York, the world watched with a mixture of fear and fascination. Streets emptied as people huddled around screens, desperate for any news of humanity's first official contact with an alien species. The UN Secretary-General, flanked by representatives from major world powers, stood on the steps of the iconic building. As the shuttle touched down and its doors hissed open, history was made. Captain Selena emerged, her iridescent form shimmering in the sunlight. The assembled humans gasped, some in awe, others in terror. The Zarkonian delegation, so alien in appearance, moved with a grace that belied their otherworldly nature. Greetings, people of Earth. Selena began, her words translated by a device on her suit. We come seeking peaceful integration of your world into the galactic community. Your species has great potential, but you are young and have much to learn. The Secretary-General stepped forward, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. We welcome you to Earth and look forward to peaceful dialogue. However, we must make it clear that humanity values its independence. We will not simply surrender our sovereignty. Zelna's multifaceted eyes narrowed slightly. You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. It is an opportunity for your species to advance beyond its current limitations. Resisting would only lead to unnecessary suffering. As the tense exchange continued, televised to billions around the world, reactions varied wildly. Some saw the Zarkonians as saviors, offering humanity a chance to join a larger cosmic civilization. Others viewed them as conquerors, no different from the imperialist powers of Earth's own history. In the Colorado facility, Elena watched the proceedings with growing unease. They're not here for peaceful cooperation, she murmured. This is a conquest, dressed up in diplomatic niceties. Harper nodded in agreement, which means we need to be ready for when diplomacy fails. How close are we to getting our bird in the air? Elena hesitated. We've made breakthroughs in the propulsion and life support systems. We could probably achieve liftoff and basic maneuvering, but without weapons. It might be enough, Harper interjected. If we can show them we have this technology, it might make them think twice about forcing the issue. As they spoke, alarms blared throughout the facility. A junior officer burst into the room, panic evident on his face. Sir, ma'am, you need to see this. They rushed to the control room, where screens showed chaos unfolding around the world. In major cities, clashes had broken out between pro-alien factions and those demanding resistance. Some military units, acting without official orders, had opened fire on Zarkonian ships, their weapons barely scratching the advanced alien hulls. It's falling apart, Harper growled. We're out of time. Elena made a split-second decision. We need to launch. Now, even if we're not fully prepared, it's our only shot at averting full-scale war. Harper hesitated for a moment, then nodded sharply. Do it. I'll inform the president. As Elena raced towards the hangar, klaxons sounded throughout the facility. Personnel scrambled to their stations, preparing for the historic launch of humanity's secret weapon. In New York, the diplomatic meeting had devolved into barely concealed hostility. Zelna, frustrated by the humans' continued resistance, issued a final warning. You have one planetary rotation to submit to Zarkonian authority. After that, we will be forced to take more persuasive measures. As the alien delegation returned to their shuttle, chaos erupted. A group of protesters broke through security cordons, hurling objects at the Zarkonians. In the confusion, a shot rang out. Time seemed to stand still as a Zarkonian security officer crumpled to the ground, fluorescent blood seeping from a wound. Zelma's eyes flashed with fury as she was rushed into the shuttle. Within moments, the alien craft had lifted off, racing back to the safety of their orbiting fleet. This is exactly why primitive species cannot be trusted with their own governance. Vex snarled as they re-entered the flagship. We should commence orbital bombardment immediately. Zelna, her earlier diplomatic demeanor shattered by the attack, found herself agreeing. Prepare the fleet for combat operations. We'll give them their rotation to surrender, but at the first sign of further aggression, we'll show them the true might of the Zarkonian Stellar Confederation. As tensions reached a boiling point in orbit, Alina and her team worked frantically to bring the ancient warship online. Systems that had lain dormant for millennia flickered to life, filling the cavernous hangar with an otherworldly hum. Main power is stable, called out one engineer. Artificial gravity and life support are green across the board. Alina, seated in what they assumed was the captain's chair, felt a strange connection to the vessel. It was as if the ship itself was alive, responding to her thoughts and intentions. Propulsion systems online, another technician reported, but weapons are still non-responsive. Alina took a deep breath. It'll have to do. Begin launch sequence. As the massive hangar doors ground open above them, revealing a star-filled sky, Alina couldn't help but think of the enormity of what they were about to attempt. They were about to take an alien warship, only partially understood, into battle against an advanced extraterrestrial fleet. The fate of humanity would rest on their success or failure. May whatever gods are out there be with us, she whispered as the ancient engines roared to life. The ship rose majestically from its underground berth, soil and rock cascading off its gleaming hull as it ascended into the night sky. Across Colorado, witnesses stared in awe at the otherworldly craft, its design clearly not of human origin. In orbit, alarms blared aboard the Zarkonian flagship. Unknown vessel detected, cried out a sensor operator. It's impossible. The design matches no known configuration in our database, but the technology, it's beyond even our own. Zelma stared at the tactical display in disbelief. The humans, these primitive beings they had so easily dismissed, had somehow acquired technology that rivaled or even surpassed their own. As the Earth ship approached, she realized that the coming conflict would be unlike anything the Zarkonian Stellar Confederation had ever faced. The stage was set for a battle that would determine the fate of Earth and potentially reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity, armed with determination and an ancient legacy, was about to show the cosmos that they were a force to be reckoned with. As Alina guided the alien warship towards its first confrontation, she steeled herself for the challenges ahead. The next few hours would determine whether Earth would fall to alien dominion or emerge as a new power on the galactic stage. The time for diplomacy had passed. Now, it was time for action. Battle for Earth. The ancient warship, christened Phoenix by its human crew, climbed through Earth's atmosphere with astonishing speed. Alina, still marveling at the intuitive nature of the ship's controls, guided the vessel towards the Zarkonian fleet looming in orbit. All systems are holding steady, reported Dr. Aiden Chen, Alina's second-in-command. But we're still blind on weapons. Whatever's locking them down, we can't crack it. Alina nodded grimly. We'll have to rely on intimidation for now. Let's hope the sight of this ship is enough to make them think twice about attacking. As Phoenix approached the alien armada, an uneasy silence fell over both sides. The Zarkonians, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of advanced technology in human hands, scrambled to reassess their strategy. Aboard the Zarkonian flagship, Captain Selma stared at the tactical display with a mixture of awe and frustration. How is this possible? She demanded. Their planet showed no signs of this level of advancement. Vex, his earlier bravado shaken, offered a theory. Perhaps they discovered and reverse-engineered some ancient technology. It would explain the unfamiliar design. Zelma's scales rippled with agitation. Hail them. I want to know what we're dealing with. On Phoenix, Alina received the incoming transmission. Taking a deep breath, she accepted the call. The alien captain's face appeared on the main view screen, her multifaceted eyes glinting with barely concealed anger. Unidentified Earth vessel. Selma began, her tone clipped. Explain your presence and intentions immediately. Alina straightened in her chair, projecting a confidence she didn't entirely feel. This is Dr. Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force. We are here to protect our planet from any hostile actions. I suggest you withdraw your fleet immediately. Zelna's mandibles clicked in what Alina assumed was amusement. You have one impressive ship, human. But do you truly think you can stand against our entire fleet? Before Alina could respond, alarms blared throughout Phoenix. Multiple weapons locks detected. Aiden shouted. They're targeting major cities across the globe. Alina's heart raced. They were out of time. Break off all communication, she ordered. Evasive maneuvers. Phoenix banked sharply, its advanced propulsion systems allowing it to move with a grace that belied its massive size. Zarkonian fighters scrambled to intercept, energy weapons flaring to life. We can't just dodge forever, Aiden said, his voice tense. We need to find a way to fight back. As if in response to their desperate need, new displays flickered to life across Phoenix's bridge. Strange symbols danced across the screens, slowly resolving into recognizable patterns. Alina's eyes widened as understanding dawned. It's not that the weapons were locked, she breathed. We just couldn't understand how to use them. Her hands flew across the newly activated controls, guided by an almost instinctive understanding. Suddenly, Phoenix unleashed a barrage of energy pulses unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed. The shots struck with pinpoint accuracy, disabling Zarkonian fighters without destroying them completely. Non-lethal weaponry, Aiden marveled. Whoever built this ship valued preservation of life. Alina nodded, a mix of relief and determination washing over her. Then let's use it to save as many lives as we can, on both sides. The battle for Earth had begun in earnest. Phoenix darted between Zarkonian ships, its advanced shields shrugging off return fire, while its non-lethal weapons systematically disabled the alien fleet. On the ground, humanity watched in awe as streaks of light crisscrossed the night sky. Aboard the Zarkonian flagship, chaos reigned. How are they doing this? Selma demanded, watching helplessly as her fleet was slowly but surely neutralized. Their weapons, they're like nothing we've ever encountered. Vex, his earlier bloodlust replaced by grudging respect, turned to his captain. Perhaps it's time we considered a tactical retreat. We clearly underestimated these humans. Zelna's pride warred with her tactical instincts. The humans had surprised them, yes, but surely the might of the Zarkonian Stellar Confederation could still prevail. She opened her mouth to order a counterattack when a brilliant flash of light filled the view screen. A massive portal had opened in space, dwarfing even the largest ships in the Zarkonian fleet. From its swirling depths emerged a vessel of staggering proportions, its design clearly of the same origin as Phoenix. Alina stared at the new arrival, her mind reeling. Are they here to help us? As if in answer, the colossal ship unleashed a wave of energy that washed over the battlefield. When it passed, every weapon in the Zarkonian fleet had been completely neutralized. A booming voice, seemingly emanating from the fabric of space itself, filled every communication channel. Children of Earth and Zarkon, cease this conflict. We have watched and waited long enough. On Phoenix's bridge, on the Zarkonian flagship, and in homes across the Earth, all eyes were fixed on the awesome spectacle unfolding in orbit. The voice continued, its tone both ancient and infinitely patient. We are the Guardians, tasked with shepherding young races as they take their first steps into the galactic community. Humanity has proven itself worthy by awakening our gift and using it not for destruction, but for defense. Alina's mind raced. The ship they'd found, Phoenix, had been a test, a way for this advanced race to evaluate humanity's readiness for a larger role in the cosmos. The voice addressed the Zarkonians directly. You have lost your way, forgetting the principles of peaceful cooperation upon which your confederation was founded. It is time for reflection and atonement. With those words, the massive ship began to move. Beams of soft light enveloped the Zarkonian vessels, and one by one, they vanished, transported to some unknown location for whatever reflection the Guardians deemed necessary. As the last Zarkonian ship disappeared, an expectant hush fell over Earth. Humanity collectively held its breath, wondering what this cosmic judgment would mean for their own fate. The Guardian ship turned its attention to Phoenix. Alina felt a gentle probe in her mind, as if the vast intelligence was examining their actions, their intentions, their very souls. After what seemed like an eternity, the voice spoke again. Humanity, you stand at a crossroads. You have shown great potential, but your path forward is not yet certain. We offer you a choice. Remain isolated on your world, your memory of these events clouded, or take your place among the stars, accepting both the wonders and responsibilities that come with it. Helena looked around at her crew. Seeing the same mix of fear and excitement, she felt reflected in their eyes. This was the moment that would define the future of their entire species. With a deep breath, she opened a channel to address not just the Guardians, but all of humanity. We choose to move forward, Helena said, her voice steady and clear. Humanity has always looked to the stars with wonder and hope. We're ready to take our place in the larger universe, to learn, to grow, and to contribute to the galactic community. A warm sensation flooded through Phoenix, a feeling of approval and welcome. The Guardian voice spoke one last time, its tone filled with something akin to pride. Then let your journey begin, children of Earth. May you bring your unique spirit to the tapestry of galactic civilization. With that, the massive ship began to retreat, slipping back through the portal from which it had emerged. As it vanished, Alina felt Phoenix's systems surging with new energy and understanding, a parting gift from the Guardians, unlocking the full potential of the ship's technology. As the first light of dawn broke over Earth, humanity stood on the precipice of a new era. The threat of invasion had been averted, replaced by the promise of a vast and wondrous universe waiting to be explored. Alina guided Phoenix back towards Earth, her heart full of pride and hope. They had faced an overwhelming alien force and emerged victorious, not through superior firepower, but through the very qualities that made them human: ingenuity, determination, and a fundamental desire to preserve life rather than destroy it. As Phoenix descended through the atmosphere, cheering crowds gathered to welcome the heroes who had defended Earth. But Alina knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity's greatest adventure was just starting, and the stars themselves were the limit. The battle for Earth was over, but humanity's journey to the stars had just begun. Revelations and alliances. In the weeks following the dramatic encounter with the Zarkonians and the Guardians, Earth was abuzz with activity. Governments scrambled to adapt to the new reality of humanity's place in the cosmos, while scientists and engineers pored over the wealth of knowledge unlocked within Phoenix. Alina found herself at the center of it all, splitting her time between deciphering the ship's advanced systems and briefing world leaders on the implications of their newfound galactic status. It was during one such briefing at the United Nations that an unexpected message arrived. Dr. Rodriguez, a aide interrupted, looking flustered. We're receiving a transmission from the Zarkonians. The assembly hall erupted in murmurs of surprise and concern. Alina exchanged glances with Colonel Harper, who had been overseeing the global response to the recent events. Put it through, Alina said, her voice calm but her heart racing. The large screen at the front of the hall flickered to life, revealing the familiar face of Captain Selna. The Zarkonian looked different somehow, humbled, perhaps even chastened. Greetings, people of Earth. Selna began, her tone far more respectful than in their previous encounters. I come before you not as a conqueror, but as a petitioner. The Guardians have shown us the error of our ways, and we seek to make amends. Alina stepped forward, addressing the alien captain. We're listening, Captain Selna. What exactly are you proposing? Zelna's mandibles clicked nervously. The Guardians have given us a glimpse of a threat that looms over all of us, a danger so great that it requires the cooperation of all spacefaring races to confront. We need your help. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. The idea that the mighty Zarkonian Stellar Confederation would come seeking aid from the very world they had recently tried to subjugate was almost beyond belief. What kind of threat are we talking about? Colonel Harper demanded, his military instincts kicking in. Zelna's multifaceted eyes seemed to darken. They're called the Void Hunters, a species so ancient and advanced that they view the rest of us as little more than insects. They consume entire galaxies, leaving nothing but empty, lifeless husks in their wake. As Selna shared what the Guardians had revealed to them, Alina felt a chill run down her spine. The images of entire civilizations wiped out, of planets crumbling to dust, were terrifying in their implications. The Guardians believe, Selna continued, that the key to stopping the Void Hunters lies in the very technology you've begun to master. The ship you call Phoenix. It's part of a network of ancient defenses left behind by those who fought the Void Hunters eons ago. Alina's mind raced with the possibilities. That's why the weapons were non-lethal. She mused aloud. They're not meant for war between species, but for uniting against a common threat. Zelna nodded. Precisely. The Guardians have tasked us, all of us, with reactivating this network and preparing for the Void Hunters' inevitable return. But we can't do it alone. We need Earth's innovation, your unique perspective. The UN Assembly Hall erupted in debate. Some argued for caution, skeptical of trusting the Zarkonians so soon after their attempted invasion. Others saw the opportunity for humanity to prove itself on the galactic stage. Alina turned to address the gathered leaders. I understand the hesitation, she began, her voice carrying across the suddenly hushed room. But we've been given an opportunity here, not just to protect Earth, but to safeguard all life in the galaxy. Isn't that worth the risk? After hours of intense discussion, a consensus was reached. Earth would join the alliance against the Void Hunters, but with conditions. There would be a free exchange of knowledge and technology, and Earth would have an equal say in all decisions moving forward. As the details of the alliance were hammered out, Alina found herself back aboard Phoenix, preparing for their first joint mission with the Zarkonians. The goal, to reactivate an ancient defense station hidden in a distant nebula. I never thought I'd see the day we'd be working alongside the very aliens who tried to conquer us, Aiden remarked as they made final preparations for departure. Alina smiled wryly. The universe is full of surprises, it seems. Let's just hope this alliance holds when we face the real threat. As Phoenix and a contingent of Zarkonian ships prepared to depart, Alina couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at how quickly everything had changed. In a matter of weeks, humanity had gone from an isolated species on a single planet to key players in a galactic alliance. The journey to the nebula was tense at first, with both humans and Zarkonians wary of each other. But as they worked together to navigate the challenges of deep space travel, barriers began to break down. Cultural exchanges took place, with both species learning about each other's histories, traditions, and scientific advancements. Alina found herself spending long hours with Selna, the two leaders bonding over their shared responsibility. I must admit, Zelna said during one such conversation, I had grossly underestimated your species. Your adaptability, your creativity. They're unlike anything we've encountered. We've had our share of conflicts and mistakes, Alina replied. But at our core, I think humans have always yearned to be part of something greater than ourselves. This alliance, as unexpected as it is, feels like a fulfillment of that dream. As they neared their destination, long-range sensors detected an anomaly. A massive structure loomed within the colorful gases of the nebula. The ancient defense station they sought. It's incredible, Aiden breathed, staring at the holographic display. The station was a marvel of engineering, its design both beautiful and clearly built for a purpose. As they approached, however, alarms began to blare across both fleets. Multiple contacts detected. A Zarkonian officer reported, her voice tight with tension. They matched no known configurations. Alina's blood ran cold as she saw the swarm of sleek, predatory ships emerging from the depths of the nebula. They moved with an otherworldly grace, their very presence seeming to dim the light around them. "It's them," Selna whispered, horror evident in her voice. "The Void Hunters. They're already here." As the enemy ships closed in, Alina realized that their mission had just become far more complicated and infinitely more dangerous. The alliance of humans and Zarkonians was about to face its first true test, and the fate of not just their own species, but countless others, hung in the balance. "Battle stations," Alina ordered, her voice steadied despite the fear gripping her heart. "Let's show these Void Hunters what happens when they threaten our galaxy." As both fleets moved to engage the enemy, Alina couldn't help but marvel at the twist of fate that had brought them to this moment. Humanity's journey to the stars had led them not just to new frontiers, but to a destiny they could never have imagined, standing as the last line of defense against a threat to all life in the galaxy. The battle that would shape the future of the cosmos was about to begin, and humanity was right at the heart of it. A new era. The void of space erupted into a dazzling display of energy weapons and evasive maneuvers as the combined human-Zarkonian fleet engaged the Void Hunters. Phoenix, with Alina at the helm, darted between the larger capital ships, its advanced weaponry proving devastatingly effective against the cosmic predators. "Their technology is like nothing I've ever seen," Aiden shouted over the din of battle, his fingers flying across the control panels. "It's as if they're bending the very fabric of space-time." Alina gritted her teeth as she narrowly avoided a coruscating beam of dark energy. "Keep scanning for weaknesses. There has to be a way to beat them." As the battle raged, it became clear that despite their advanced technology, the Alliance was outnumbered and outgunned. Ship after ship fell to the Void Hunters' onslaught, their hulls crumpling like paper under the alien assault. "We can't keep this up." Zelna's voice crackled over the comm. "We need to reach that defense station. It's our only hope." Alina nodded grimly. "Agreed. All ships, concentrate fire on Sector 7. We're punching through." In a daring maneuver, Phoenix led a wedge formation, carving a path through the swarm of Void Hunters. Energy weapons flashed, shields strained to their limits, but inch by inch, they made progress towards the looming shape of the ancient station. As they neared their goal, a massive Void Hunter vessel moved to intercept, its hull seeming to absorb the very light around it. "Brace for impact." Alina shouted, but the expected collision never came. Instead, a brilliant beam of energy lanced out from the defense station, enveloping the Void Hunter ship. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a silent flash, the enemy vessel simply ceased to exist. "The station," Aiden breathed in awe. "It's active." Alina's mind raced. The Guardians must have left some kind of automatic defense system. "We need to dock and find a way to take control." As Phoenix approached the station, strange glyphs began to glow along its surface. A massive docking bay arose open, as if inviting them in. With no time to second-guess, Alina guided the ship into the cavernous structure. The moment they crossed the threshold, a sense of calm washed over the crew. Outside, the battle continued to rage, but within the station, an eerie silence reigned. "It's like it's shielded from the outside universe," Alina marveled as they disembarked. The interior of the station was a maze of crystalline corridors and pulsing energy conduits. As they explored deeper into the structure, they encountered no resistance. Instead, holographic interfaces sprang to life around them, displaying incomprehensible streams of data. "Look," Aiden pointed to a central chamber they were approaching. "That has to be the control room." The chamber was dominated by a massive, swirling orb of energy. As Alina stepped towards it, she felt a familiar presence brush against her mind, the same sensation she'd experienced when the Guardians had first contacted them. Without fully understanding why, Alina reached out and placed her hand on the orb. In an instant, her consciousness expanded, connecting with the vast network of defense stations scattered throughout the galaxy. She saw the full scope of the Void Hunters' invasion, the countless worlds already lost, and the desperate battles being fought on 1,000 fronts. But she also saw hope. The ancient defense network, dormant for eons, was awakening, and with it, a plan to drive back the cosmic threat once and for all. With a gasp, Alina withdrew her hand, her mind reeling from the influx of information. "I know what we need to do," she said, her voice filled with newfound determination. Over the next hours, as the battle continued to rage outside, Alina coordinated a galaxy-wide counteroffensive. The defense stations, now fully activated, began to turn the tide. Void Hunter ships were systematically targeted and neutralized, their otherworldly technology no match for the Guardians' ancient weapons. From the Milky Way to Andromeda and beyond, the sentient species of the universe found themselves fighting side by side against a common enemy. Old rivalries were forgotten, alliances forged in the heat of battle that would last for generations to come. As the last of the Void Hunters were driven back to the dark spaces between galaxies, a cheer went up across 1,000,000 worlds. The threat that had loomed over the cosmos for eons had been vanquished, at least for now. In the aftermath of the Great Battle, representatives from countless species gathered at the ancient defense station. Alina, still coming to terms with her role as the one who had activated the network, found herself at the center of a new galactic council. "The Guardians left us more than just weapons," she addressed the assembled delegates. "They left us a legacy of cooperation, of standing united in the face of cosmic threats. We've been given a second chance, not just to survive, but to thrive among the stars." The council debated long into the night, discussing how to move forward in this new era of galactic cooperation. It was decided that the defense network would be maintained, with representatives from all species working together to monitor for any signs of the Void Hunters' return. But more than that, a new initiative was launched. The combined scientific knowledge of 1,000 worlds would be put towards unlocking the secrets of the Guardians' technology, not for war, but for exploration and the betterment of all sentient life. As the council session ended, Alina found herself looking out at the star-filled expanse of space. Selna joined her, the once adversaries now the closest of allies. "Who would have thought," Selna mused, "that our failed invasion of your world would lead to all of this?" Alina smiled. "The universe works in mysterious ways, but I think we've all learned an important lesson. It's not our differences that define us, but how we choose to come together in times of need." As they stood there, watching ships of 100 different designs departing for their home worlds, both felt a sense of profound hope for the future. Humanity had not only found its place among the stars, but had played a crucial role in shaping the destiny of the entire galaxy. The road ahead would not be easy. There would be challenges to face, new frontiers to explore, and the ever-present vigilance against the return of the Void Hunters. But Alina knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together. A united galaxy, stronger for the trials they had overcome. As Phoenix prepared to return to Earth, carrying news of humanity's pivotal role in the cosmic drama, Alina couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. They were no longer alone in the universe, no longer confined to their small blue planet. The stars, once so distant and unreachable, were now filled with allies, friends, and endless possibilities. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, and the greatest adventure in their history was just beginning. The era of isolation was over. The age of galactic cooperation had dawned, and with it, the promise of a brighter future for all. As Phoenix jumped to faster-than-light speed, Alina whispered a quiet thank you to the long-gone Guardians who had set this all in motion. Their faith in humanity had not been misplaced. And now, It was up to them to carry that legacy forward, to be the guardians of peace and cooperation in a vast and wondrous galaxy. The dirt planet that had once been mocked had become the keystone of galactic salvation, and that was just the beginning of humanity's cosmic journey.